You are Locked On Wolves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
T-Wolves make it 3 in a row. They get a little vengeance on OKC at the Target Center tonight, 123-111. That's your final. What's going on back in the lab, back at it? Another T-Wolves postcast, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which, thanks to you guys, is now the #1 sports podcast network. That's Jack Borman, Wolves expert, NBA expert. Give him a follow on X at JRBorman13, Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. And go follow our guy, Ben Beacon, host of the Locked On Timberwolves show each and every day as well. Lots to get into here, Jack. I want to hand out our game MVP award, biggest X factor as well, plus what we'll be talking about tomorrow. But, just off the top here, Wolves trying to make it 3 in a row here and get a little vengeance on OKC in the process from, obviously, that Western Conference beatdown they took last year. No Caruso, no Jalen Williams, no A.J. Mitchell in this one, but who cares, man? Wolves set the tone, and this was just fun to watch. Got the Amazon Prime broadcast, by the way, of Iron Eagle. Absolutely loved it. Up 12 after the first quarter. They got that lead up to 22, and they just never really let OKC kind of come up for air, it felt like. Suffocating defense all night long, 30 points off turnovers. And on the other end, it just felt like everybody was in their oats tonight. Everybody was in their bag. Three ball was raining down, 22 of 47, 47% from three. Even if OKC was down some key guys, Jack, what's a win like this still mean for this team against that OKC team, as the Wolves win their third in a row and start to, it feels like, kind of heat back up here a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Even though guys are out for Oklahoma City, I mean, it's still the Oklahoma City Thunder out there. They still have SGA. Lou Dort's still guarding Anthony Edwards. They still have Chet. They got Hartenstein back, Casey Wallace back tonight. So I still think that this game was more about how the Wolves played than who the Thunder didn't have. And I think that Oklahoma City's proven that even without Jalen Williams or even without Alex Caruso, that they're still a really darn good team and, could still be the best team in the Western Conference without, those guys playing. So nonetheless, it's a great win. And I think it has to be, a confidence builder for the Wolves, right? I mean, they're 2-0 in both their games against the Thunder this season that, they've had key guys play really, really well for the most part, outside of maybe Julius Randle in that first game. But I thought, again, the Wolves took care of the big keys against Oklahoma City, right? I know that I've made this analogy in the past, but I think it's a pretty good one for coming from somebody that's not great with analogies. It's kind of like a math test where you have the answers, but you have to show your work. Otherwise, you don't get the credit in terms of the formula to beating Oklahoma City. You have to make them, first and foremost, you have to make them take and make corner threes and keep them out of the paint. Wolves did that tonight, held them to just 52 paint points, which is right around league average. And Oklahoma City shot 2 of 6 from the corners tonight. You got to take care of the ball. The Wolves did that for 3 quarters. I want to say they had 7 or 8 turnovers in the fourth quarter when the result of the game was pretty much already decided. So that was a job well done. They dominated points off turnovers for the majority of this game until the fourth quarter. And then number 3, dominate on the glass. The Wolves have done that in both of their wins over Oklahoma City this year. They had 15 offensive rebounds for 28 second chance points in this game. In the other game, they beat Oklahoma City here at Target Center. They had 29 second chance points. Compare that to the loss they had in OKC where they only had 12. So that's a really important thing against this team. And then the last one is make your threes, right? I think against Oklahoma City, a lot of teams just almost completely abandoned trying to score in the paint or impose their will in the paint and just shoot a bunch of threes. And, the Wolves shot a bunch of threes in this game and made a bunch of threes in this game, 22 of 47, 47%, like you said. But I thought it was the way in which they manufactured a lot of these threes, right? They got into the paint, collapsed the defense, kicked the ball up, made 2-3 extra passes, found wide open shooters, did a great job of relocating, moving off the ball to lose some of their defenders to create open shots. Did a great job taking and making threes off of turnovers, especially in that first half. I want to say the Wolves had 22 points off of 9 turnovers. Scoring 2.4 points per turnover is pretty remarkable. So that was great. And then, kind of continuing off of that, the Timberwolves combined for 58 second chance points and points off turnovers. That's the most that any team has had in a single game against Oklahoma City this season. Again, anything over 32, 33 is a really good night. So to have 58 is pretty remarkable. And then again, I just thought that Oklahoma City really struggled playing without SGA and Chet on the floor, but those are minutes that they've been really good in this season. And then you also throw Jalen Williams. If you take him out of the equation as well, they're still a plus 11 net on 286 minutes without those guys. And a big reason why is because they have AJ Mitchell, right? And I think they missed AJ Mitchell more than probably anybody in this game, just because they play through him so well in those minutes. And they were just really struggling to create clean offense, right? And I think the Wolves did a really good job of turning off, the water of guys like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, who shot a combined 5 of 15, was really great. And then the Wolves dominated in transition, 23-13. That's an area where Oklahoma City has really struggled of late, but they have been, first in the NBA for the majority of the season, and fast break points allowed. With just under 12 a game, and the Wolves had 14 halfway through the second quarter. So they did a great job in those areas, just part of a great job of them turning defense to offense, pushing pace, sharing the ball really, really nicely, and getting the ball to shooters in the shooting pocket was really important too. So I thought it was just a super unselfish game on both ends of the floor, the way the Wolves competed for one another and for their home crowd to get their third win in a row in pretty remarkable fashion here against Oklahoma City, just their fourth double-digit loss of the season. So overall, great win for the Wolves, and hopefully something to kind of carry with them onto this road trip.
Let's hand out some flowers with our game MVP.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Again, so many guys were feeling it tonight, Jack. 6 guys in double digits for the Wolves. Ant, team high 26. J-Mac with 21. Got to pick one, though. Game MVP for the Wolves. Who you got tonight and why? Yeah,
tonight it's got to be Jaden McDaniels for me. I think for him to, I think get off to the start that he had was a huge reason why the Timberwolves blew this game open, right? He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, plus 18 in just 31 minutes. But I think it was just the manner in which he played early. He made SGA look uncomfortable early in this game, had a nice block on a SGA fall away midi going left. And that's normally the area where you see SGA get into that pump fake and then go back up into the body. So I thought he was really disciplined for the most part on SGA tonight. I will add, SGA just didn't quite look right. He looked pretty winded early in this game. I don't know if he was dealing with any type of illness. He wasn't on the status report, but look, SGA still had a good game, 30 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. He just didn't look like himself, especially early in this game. Felt like a lot of his buckets were just kind of empty calories for the most part, with the way the Wolves were able to match that. And, SGA is MVP of the league. He's been probably the best guard in the league for, years now. And just it's rare for him to not be in total control of a game offensively. And it just didn't feel that way tonight. So I think you got to give Jaden McDaniels a lot of credit for the way that he responded in this matchup. It's not a matchup that he's had his way with defensively, especially over the last couple of seasons. But again, just thought he really competed his tail off on that end. And then he just shot the leather off of it offensively, right? Made all 5 of his threes. And I thought, again, just his willingness to take and make open shots instead of trying to over penetrate into the lane and drive into help or anything like that. The fact that he's still, I want to say Jaden's shooting like 42 or 43% from 3 this far into the season is just a total boon for the Timberwolves offense. And I think, we'll get into it a little bit later, just makes them such a dangerous offense when you think about it through the lens of a playoff series, just with how much attention defenses have to devote to stopping Ant, stopping Randall, and then stopping an elite shooter like Dante DiVincenzo, who has some shooting gravity to him. I think teams often forget about Jaden McDaniels, but he's super talented offensively, is super fluid, can really, I guess, get his shot off at unique angles inside the paint too, that allows him to elevate over smaller defenders and all that jazz. So it was a total, great exhibition of kind of all of the things that blend together to make Jaden McDaniels a really talented and unique player in this league. And hopefully we can continue to see more games like tonight from Jaden, and less games, maybe where, at times you might forget that he's out there.
Plenty more deep dive, including our biggest X factor from tonight. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Monarch Money. Ever go check your bank account and go, where'd my money go? Dining out, online shopping, entertainment, so easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Not just another budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, your spending. It's all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and instead you start building some wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com. You're getting 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA. You're getting half off your entire first year. This episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Without a doubt, most fun I have playing daily fantasy. You can win up to 25 times your money this NBA season. And why I love it, it's just so easy to play. All you got to do, you select 2 or more players. You pick more or less on their projected stats. We're talking points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, you name it, they got it. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code LockedOnNBA at prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. 100% bonus match up to $100. All right, Jack, before we get into what we'll be talking about, let's get into the biggest X factor from tonight.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
All right, the last 2 X Factor awards have gone to Bones Highland, Jack. Don't think that's going to be the case tonight. Still some good prospects, though, on the list here. Biggest X Factor for the Wolves tonight. Who was it and why?
Yeah, taking a break from the bone zone tonight. I think we got to get into Julius Randle's defense tonight. I think that Julius Randle, very much like Anthony Edwards, is a player who is incredibly physically imposing. He's freakishly athletic. He's incredibly strong. And when he chooses to when he chooses to play defense, he's incredibly good on that end of the floor on the ball, right? I mean, you saw he had a rep early in the game where he just totally stood up SGA, walled him off, and stripped him clean. I think he had 4 steals in this game for the Wolves tonight, and then had a couple more where his defense in the backcourt or right as soon as ball handlers crossed half court enabled other guys to kind of get a steal downstream because of it. And again, like, he had bad moments at points tonight, like everybody does over the course of an NBA game. But I just think that he kind of is proving why I think it's so easy to buy into the Timberwolves as a playoff team rather than a night-to-night NBA regular season team, just because, with he and Ant both kind of having that defensive potential when they choose to tap into it, there's just not really a weak link defensively on this team with the starting 5, right? I mean, we've seen what Dante DiVincenzo is able to do. Obviously, he's a little bit slighter of frame and, at times can struggle chasing around some shooters on some of his off nights. But I just don't think that the Wolves defense has a guy that teams are just going to relentlessly pick on and attack in one-on-one situations and have that be a profitable kind of equation that you're continuing to run over and over again. So I think, again, he showed it in that game against Wemby. He showed it tonight against the OKC. And for the Wolves to tap into their defensive energy in such a way tonight on the back end of a really difficult road home back-to-back from Dallas to Minnesota tonight, playing an Oklahoma City team, albeit a somewhat depleted one, but still, that's a really tough back-to-back, and for all those guys to come out and set the tone. He and Ant to set the tone early in this game with really good defensive energy was super important. And then if you want kind of a dark horse X factor too, his three-point shooting, Julius Randle's three-point shooting, I think is really important for this team. He started 0 of 4. He made his last 2. And the Wolves offense just feels a lot more dangerous and significantly more difficult to guard when his three-point shot is falling. And he's shooting just 30.2% from 3 in January coming into tonight. So hopefully, his three-point shooting is kind of come and gone. And it's been, he'll shoot 4 of 6 and then he'll shoot 0 of 5. And it's kind of been it feels like it's been like that for the majority of the season. But hopefully, I think as defenses start to load up on Ant a lot more the second half of the season, and players like Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid, have the ball in their hands more often, then it can result in a few more spot up opportunities for Randle, and he can find a little bit more of a rhythm. Because, like I said, it's really easy for Julius Randle to get up to 23, 25, 28 points when he's knocking down, at least 2 or 3 threes in a game.
Two quick rapid-fire quick hitters, starting with Jalen Clark. Just from the eye test for me, Jack, maybe the best game I've seen from him in a minute anyways. And then a game like this just always makes me appreciate all the different things Naz Reid brings to the table. Quick thoughts on those two guys tonight.
Yeah, starting with Jalen Clark, I think, again, he picked up a couple of fouls early in the game, which has been a problem for him of late. But the way that he settled in was really impressive, I think. Just hounded guys in the backcourt, I think made Oklahoma City get into their stuff probably 3 or 4 seconds later than what they'd like to in the half court. And that's a really subtle thing that you may not, I guess, pick up on if you're just watching the game. But from the angle that I have, watching all these games, you see the shot clock, front and center with everything that you're watching on the defensive end of the floor. And if a guy like Jalen Clark, or when Randall does it in the backcourt, or Dante DiVincenzo, if you can make an offense, get 2, 3, 4 seconds deeper into the shot clock than they want, and when they're starting their primary action, that's super helpful over the course of a game. And again, offensive rating in the half court drops, which with each second that ticks off the clock in terms of when that primary action in the half court starts. So every second really does matter. And I think Jalen Clark really values all those things. And it's just really fun to watch him play defense when he's kind of in the zone, and had some really good defense too that enabled Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert to make, more aggressive plays. And I think that's also an underrated part of having just kind of a really strong perimeter defender, or a really good rim protector like Rudy Gobert, is it allows everybody else to be a little bit more aggressive and play in those passing lanes and create those live ball turnovers that result in scoring 30 points off of turnovers, or 23 fast break points tonight. So it's great to see him do that. He also made a 3, had a couple of buckets in transition, which was great. So about as good of a game as you can ask for Jalen Clark in the role that he's in right now.
All right, let's get into what we'll be talking about tomorrow.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Jack, anything we can take from a game like this and kind of lean on when I guess we take a step back, we just think about this team come playoff time, especially against a high caliber team like the Thunder, obviously. What information, I guess, can we take from this and say, this is why this team always has a chance for a deep postseason run?
Yeah, again, I think, going back to Naz, I mean, this team has a lot of guys that are just really difficult to defend and have matchup nightmares with, kind of, so to speak. I mean, for Naz to be 6'10", be an incredible off-ball mover to set up catch and shoot threes, shoot 40% plus on those catch and shoot threes, have arguably the best handle of any big in the league, and combine that with a great finishing package and a good post-up game. He's a guy that can kind of beat second units by himself when he has it rolling. And then you think about a guy like Jaden McDaniels, right? Again, proved exactly why he can be kind of a trump card in a playoff series. At least, help you steal a game or two in almost every single playoff series that you're in, because tonight the Thunder pay so much attention to Ant, to Randall, to DiVincenzo as a shooter. And then you have Jaden McDaniels wide open in the corner, or you have guys that are flying around in rotation, and Jaden can just attack off the dribble and either punch it home, throw a lob pass, throw a dump off pass, elevate, and kind of stopping short in the mid-range. So I just think that all the different tentacles of this offense are a huge reason why the Wolves have gone to the Western Conference Finals in each of the last 2 seasons. And it's why I'm so bullish on this team as a playoff team, even if they don't pursue a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, or make some seismic move as it pertains to their bench, just because when playoff time comes, you have Ant's been tremendous in the playoffs. I think Naz Reid has really risen to the occasion. Rudy Gobert was fantastic all year in the playoffs last season. And then, Randall was dominant in the first 2 series that they had. And I think that it's very easy for me to understand why the Timberwolves may end up passing on the opportunity to acquire a guy like Giannis if the price becomes too rich, because if you're the Wolves and the way you've played Oklahoma City this year, the way that you kind of learned from how they played last year, I think the Wolves should respect Oklahoma City as much as you can respect any other NBA team. But there's no reason why the Timberwolves should fear this Oklahoma City team, right? I think that, Randall's done really good work on Holmgren. Rudy was about as effective tonight as he's been against the Thunder for the majority of the season. And with guys like Jaden and Nas and Dante, there's plenty of guys on the periphery, and guy like Bones too that can be really impactful in a series. And it would not surprise me at all if the Wolves knock off the Thunder in a playoff series. Obviously it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if the Thunder won a playoff series, but again, it's very easy for me to see the vision for the Timberwolves in the playoffs. And I think games like tonight kind of put that into kind of full clear view. So it was really fun to see it from the Timberwolves side, especially on the second end of a back-to-back in front of a really great home crowd at Target Center. That was awesome all night long. And just a great win. And hopefully the Wolves can keep it rolling as they've got, a very, sweepable road trip coming up here.
Great stuff, Jack. Yeah, fun night from the Target Center. T-Wolves make it 3 in a row, get a little vengeance on OKC. 123-111, that's your final. 30-19 now, 11 games above 500 on the year. Much love to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen, all you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game as well. Like and subscribe, please, if you haven't already, and go follow Jack at JRBorman13. We're back Saturday for the first of 2 with Memphis, both those on the road, 7 p.m. tip on Saturday. Until then, appreciate all you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Sign it.